Greetings, ISDS2000 Business Statistics students in the online section. So I have a quiz for you, and it goes to this little image that you see on the screen. And I wonder, let me switch around to it here, I wonder if you believe that this little frowny face goes with learning project number 2 is due this week, or if you think it goes with exam number 1 results are posted. Well, you might kind of have figured out that it has much more to do with exam number 1 results are posted. So the good news is, if you go into pause and you look at the grades link, and I'll just kind of remind you of this, you can of course scroll down. Notice that you see feedback from learning project number 1. You can go down and see, oh goodness, from your extra credit. And I'm going to keep on scrolling down, and you'll see the grades are posted. Now, you do not know the details, of course, of how each problem was scored. If you will put a note on your calendar to check that on Friday or Saturday, just make sure that there's no small rounding errors typically, or that you feel that, make sure that you feel that each one of the problems was graded fairly. And if you have questions, of course, email me with the question and the problem, and let me know. Okay. Now, I want to kind of show you some other things to help you get a handle on this. The purpose of this is not to beat you up. It's to make sure that you improve as we go forward. Okay. See this yellow bar, and if you can see on the screen, it says that the class average was a 69%. That's 10 students taking that. Now, you know that the average, the mean, means that some people did better and some people did worse. But what I want to say to you is, as you go across, look at the homework. Chapter 1, the class average was a 97, almost 98%. Same 10 students, right? Excellent. Chapter 2. Okay, Chapter 2 is getting a little harder, so it's dropped down to 90%. Chapter 3, Part 1, 92%. Chapter 3, Part 2, 92 to 74%. Let's continue to Chapter 4. 9 students are now participating, so we've lost 1. We're down at a 71%, nearly a D average. Go over here to Chapter 4, Part 2, a little bit better, but notice only 8 students completed this, 78%. And I was reviewing the last video message I did to you and recalling that I think only 1 person had even started the Chapter 4. And I'm not surprised that your exam grades are poor, because when I see poor homework grades, I anticipate poor exam grades. This is cause and effect. Now, what does that tell you? That tells you that the best way to do your best on an exam is to really concentrate on this Connect homework. I think some of you went through the learning experience of understanding that you cannot save it up until the day or the day of the due date or the day before the due date. Spending 30, 45 minutes to an hour every day is significantly different than trying to cram it all into one day. And I think you got caught. Okay, I think you kind of got caught with that. And so I hope that you will hunker down and do a little better in the future. Now, let me give you an idea of what it could have been. Okay. This is a screenshot from another of the class sections. And as I look at exam number 1, now remember, for your class section, the combined average was a 69%, not even a C. Okay, that's a D average. Here we've got a class that has an A average. As I continue across, Chapter 1, 100%. Chapter 2, 92%. Chapter 3, Part 1, 99%. Chapter 3, Part 2, 88%, still very high with a B average, nearly an A average. Chapter 4, Part 1, definitely an A average at 94%. Lost one student participating there. And Chapter 4, Part 2, a little below a B, but a high C, right? So as you compare those two, homework scores to the two different test scores, kind of some interesting information. So they did very well on the homework, and they did very well on the exam. Not a mistake, not an accident. I can also tell you that as I monitored the homework progress, they were doing homework throughout the week, and I tried to reach out to you and tell you, you got to do it. So again, I'm not trying to beat you up. I do understand you're busy. I understand you may have chosen the online format because you're working and that kind of thing. But what I am telling you is the key to success, the secret for success. And that is you've got to work on this stuff a little bit every single day. Every single day. 30 minutes, an hour. You may not finish, you may not have the score that you want, but you will have exposure to those questions. You'll be more comfortable with it the next time you experience it, and it will be faster. Every time you attempt it, you'll build your experience, you'll build your speed with the homework, and you'll go through the content. And you have time to ask questions if you need to. Okay, so how do you get started to make sure that you don't run into this problem again? I'm going to switch over to pause. And if I go to our course homepage, of course, you know that you can see things that are coming up. First of all, I would encourage you to take advantage of the extra credit Excel assignments. These are not unrelated to our work. You're going to learn how to do combinations and permutations in Excel, which is what you're studying this week with Chapter 5, okay? As we move on to Chapter 6, you'll see that, again, that's some good information for topics that will be discussed in Chapter 6. Now, more immediately, in fact, September the 27th, which is only a couple days away, mark your calendar depending on when you're viewing this message, you see that you have Learning Project 2 that is due. So I'm going to go to the Dropbox, and here I am at Learning Project 2. So I'm going to click that to enter the assignment. Look at this. You print the instructions. You don't want to get any of this wrong. The common error that students make is we have an easy assignment here, and it might be so easy that you don't pay attention. And so you're going to use these instructions as a checklist. You're to go to the content area. You're to scroll down to the Chapter 4 category, and you're to look for this YouTube videos Learning Project 2. Now, here's where you're going to need to come back and say, I'm going to have to write 3 paragraphs. There's one, and here's one. And I tell you literally exactly what you need to do in each one of these videos. You know the one that I take off points the most for? Name the video. You tell me it's video number 6. I don't want to have to go look up and see which one is video number 6. Name, not number, name the video. Okay, now, you may be thinking, I don't have time for this if I need to focus on Connect. But the problem is you need to build up your skills. You need to read the book and get some resources for how to solve these problems. So I'm going to do what this thing tells me to do up at the top. I'm going to go to Content. I'm scrolling down. Look at all this stuff you've already conquered, right? Here I am in Chapter 4, and here's a link, YouTube videos for Learning Project 2. So I'm going to click on that. Okay, so here I am, and here are the videos, and I've already mentioned this part to you because remember I told you there was a little sneak peek ahead at percentiles, quartiles, and deciles back when we were in Chapter 4. But now that you're in Chapter 5, you may be unfamiliar with factorials. You may have already read through the chapter on the parts where we talked about combinations and permutations. This is going to help you. Some of you are going to struggle with conditional probability, or perhaps with calculating the probability of a tree diagram. Look at the videos that are available to you. General multiplication rule, that gives students problems. And these are some videos that I've selected that will demonstrate these concepts to you. Okay, so which one shall we start with? You want to start with conditional probability? What I'm going to do, if I don't see the video there, I'm going to copy and I'm going to go to a new browser window, and I'm up outside of the screen range, but I'm pasting that link into my new browser window. Now, this is what I want you to see. This person has a problem written on a piece of paper, just like a problem that you might solve in Connect. They're going to read to you the question for part A, and then look how down below here, this person is going through with pencil and paper, and they're solving the problem. This might be a great help to you as you get started solving the Connect problems. Will Connect have a problem that has Republicans, Democrats, independents, male, female? No. But will they have a frequency table that you're going to convert into, percentages and probabilities and then use that to find a conditional probability? Yes. And so this is a good reference for you. You just have to now take your problem and apply it. This is part of the problem solving process. So I want to encourage you to do that. It may seem like a lot of videos. This one was on conditional probability, but these are all things that we are studying in our particular chapter. And so this is, just absolutely on target for what you're being asked to do. And I'm just pulling up another one. Okay, so here you see general multiplication rule example. As you listen to the start of this video, you'll find that the instructor says a student had a question about this, and she's actually responding to the student's question with this solution, this explanation. One of the things, I don't always put a lot of stock in these things, but look how the students, other people have appreciated these videos. Same thing with this one. You see a lot of positive comments back where it clarified. Now, again, you always have to take those with a grain of salt. But what I want you to take from this is these are resources and tools. This is not something where you're just supposed to write these paragraphs because it's a distraction from your assignment. This will help you. It will support your assignments in Connect. So let's go back to the beginning. Didn't do so well in exam 1. Frowny face, shake that off. Learning Project 2 is due this week, and it will familiarize you with the content, especially in Chapter 5. And I actually have some more videos for you that we'll turn our focus to for Chapter 6. So you want to use that information to start working on Chapter 5, and then don't delay. Don't delay. A little bit of work every single day. Maybe you could start by finding the problems that look like they might be conditional probability or general multiplication. See if you can identify those in your homework. If you can identify them, then the next step is to start moving towards problem solving. If that's too much, again, maybe you can find the ones that are combination and permutation. Don't delay, get started. Don't let this get you down, but do learn and improve upon this. Because if you put time into the homework and you get those scores up and you work hard on that homework, the result is going to be a good grade for exam number 1. You can do it. Don't shy away. A little bit every day. Thanks, y'all.